Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing. Welcome to the channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. Glad to have you here. Hopefully you will find something that will be useful for you. For those of you that are longtime loyal subscribers, thank you. Thank you for being so awesome. Thank you for your comments, your subscriptions. Thank you for sharing the videos, liking the videos. Thanks for all your feedback. For those of you that make donations, thank you for that. That is very helpful and I really appreciate that. Those of you that are current clients, you should have received an email from me. I did launch that new page for current clients to schedule. You guys get to all be my guinea pigs. Put a lot of time in trying to make that work smoothly. Hopefully it will work well. And that way we'll be ready to go when I do open up for new clients, hopefully in the very, very near immediate future. But we're going to go ahead and get that tested out. But for those of you that make donations, your donations have gone to that. Your donations have gone to some new cards. And it's going to be going to some other software stuff that's going to get us set up for opening up for new clients in the near future as well. So thank you for that. Now, we are going to do something a little different. What we're going to do is we're going to do monthly readings for each element, and then we will break down each sign in that element. So we'll do one for water, one for earth, one for fire, all that. So we're going to be doing that. We will not be doing weeklies again until November 27th, they're saying. Now, these readings that we're going to be doing, they're saying that that's going to be for, I'll probably have them posted on the 5th of November. So anywhere from 5th, 6th November to same time in December, 5th, 6th December, the energy could extend a little bit beyond that. And then also for those of you, whenever you hear it, it will be applicable for you for approximately a month after that. So say you listen to this in December, well, that energy is going to go for you for about 30 days because they will guide you to listen to this video when you are intended and you need to hear the messages. So just know when you do hear these messages, it's going to be good for about 30 days after that. So we will not be doing, again, the weeklies until Monday, November 27th. That's not because I don't want to do them. It's because I don't get to decide. Now, my mother would love to hear that because she's always telling me, Nicole, you need to stop doing those. You don't have time for those because these weeklies, they do take quite a bit of time. And to actually do these for you, we're looking at about 8 hours we're going to be putting in for these things. So it's way more than what it would take to do 2 weekly readings. But it's not my call. It's not up to me. It's up to whatever the angels tell me to do to be able to help all of you in your journeys and what's going on. So they're saying we're going to do it. So that is what we are going to do. Because it's not up to me. This is something we're all going through a lot right now. We are coming to a very pivotal, game-changing time. So these are going to come in handy for you. Now, what they were telling me before getting started is that they do not want the weekly readings for you because it's time for you to do the work. It's time for everybody, all of us, to do our work. So they want these readings out, and they want you to take the next couple weeks to really do your work. Really, for some of you, there's changes, there's conversations, there's things that need to be like, oh, it's different for everyone. Most of you, though, already know what the work is that you need to do. Maybe you've been terrified of doing it, but they want to give you these next couple weeks to do that. No joke, to get it done. Because if you can do that, if you can have the courage to do that, you know, we are going to be coming up on Thanksgiving. Your next weekly readings will be the week after Thanksgiving. There's so much to be thankful for. If you can do these changes, then you will have monumental, they're saying, blessings to be thankful for into the new year, coming into the new year. So if you can take these 2 weeks, get the work done, your life will very rapidly change and change for the better. So you think this Thanksgiving's great and you've got a lot to be thankful for. Boy, do you have a pleasant surprise coming if you can do your work. So they don't want me doing weekly readings for you for 2 weeks because they want you to do your work. And they want to drill it down a little bit more into individual signs. Because I know collectively we're going through some similar stuff, but it's different for everyone. So we're going to kind of drill down, get a little bit of detail for each of your signs in your elemental reading to really help you. Now, those here in the States, we're going to be having Thanksgiving. Now, fall is a time to, we reap what we sow. So the seeds that we've planted, the things that we've done, that's the time that we get to harvest it. We get to bring it indoors. So many right now are not happy with where they're at in life. Many are not happy with relationships, with where they're at work, with where they are in their relationships with family or friends. Many love within their marriages, within their romantic partnerships. And some of you are really just wanting to give up hope, wanting to give up faith. Because for some of you, you have planted seeds and they haven't, for what it appears to you, taken root, began to grow. For some of you, you might have planted your seeds in an area where there was just an inch of dirt and you didn't really dig deep enough to realize that underneath that dirt was just a bunch of rock bed. So it was built on a foundation that could not sustain life, could not sustain growth, could not sustain this beginning that you were hopeful for. It was doomed from the beginning because we have to plant our seeds in fertile soil. So if we're investing time in such a relationship that's going to go nowhere, it won't blossom. If we're investing time maybe in a career that we feel like, okay, this is a dead-end career, but I make good money, so I'm just going to keep riding it out, but we're miserable every day, again, we're planting seeds where they're not going to take root and flourish. But for some of you, you have planted seeds where they can take flourish. You're just not seeing your harvest yet. But for those of you that may have, picked the wrong location to plant your seeds, this is your opportunity to rip those bad boys up out of the ground and get them replanted where they will take root. They will blossom. They will grow. They will do so rapidly. Some of you are even going to see growth before the frost comes in, but you've got to do it. You've got to replant those seeds. Now, with fall, I think it's interesting the color that they wanted me to wrap the table in. They wanted me to wrap the table in orange. And I just happened to have this little autumn decor, which matches it perfectly. But what they were telling me is, for those of you that are, familiar with chakras, our chakras are our energy systems. And it's not some spiritual woo-woo out there concept. Each chakra is connected to all of our organs. If we have blockages in certain chakras, they will affect different organs in different areas of our bodies. They also affect all functionality in our life. So when you look at your chakras, they go in Roy G. Biv order from the root chakra, which is down at your base. So for those of you, it would be in your sexual organ area. And they work all the way up until you get to the crown chakra, which is violet, and that's at the top of your head. But each chakra serves a purpose. And, because when you start like the root chakra, that's if someone is in a place of just fear, and they can be fearful of relationships, love, work, they can be fearful of everything. If everything scares them and they're worried about everything in life, they're going to have a difficult time rising up into the other chakras. And it's kind of like our hierarchy of needs. Someone can't get to a state of bliss and happiness and fulfillment if they don't have a roof over their head or if they're struggling to keep food on the table. You have to take care of your basic needs, those mandatory things, before you can get into the perks, the things that, add joy to life. Chakras are kind of like that. If you're stuck in a state of fear all the time, you're not going to be able to move up in the other chakras. And as you move up, it becomes better and better. So like you move from the root chakra into your sacral, and that's, your orange. We're going to go over that here in a moment. But that's like desire, your desires in life. Then you can move from that up into your solar plexus, which is all about your willpower. Now, some people will get stuck in the solar plexus because it's also where we house our anger. So maybe someone, has this relationship and it's kind of boomeranging back and forth and back and forth. The thing is, between those two chakras, the sacral chakra, which is orange, the solar plexus chakra, which is yellow, one is kind of just below the belly button, the other one's kind of just above the belly button. Those two together are your ability to create things in life. So many of you, maybe because you have a relationship that's just not working, or you have one failed relationship after another failed relationship after another failed relationship. So you're not able to create, or you have not up to this point been able to create this love, this relationship that will stand the test of time, because you've got some blocks in those two chakras. So maybe you've bounced back and forth with someone that you've been with for years, and just when you think, okay, you know, things are great, I really want this, I desire this, you're down in that orange, that, you know, sacral chakra, but then they do something to upset you. Maybe you find out they lied or they cheated or whatever. Then you're having to stand up for yourself, and then you're just pissed off and you're angry. You can't rise above that into love. So then that makes you mad, and then you no longer desire having a relationship. So then you've gone from being in that yellow solar plexus chakra, you've spiraled back down again. They're saying that's where some of you are. You're spiraling back and forth in those two chakras, and you have not been able to elevate yourself above that. And for some of you, you haven't been able to elevate above that because there's a lot of fear involved. Because in order to make the necessary changes, it's a big overhaul in your life. For some of you, it's some work. But it's worth it, because if you can get above that chakra and you can start to get into your heart chakra, which is green, it's in the middle of your chest where your heart is, that's where you come into a state of love, of unconditional love. That's where you start to get into the things that are better, that are juicy, that make life worth living, that are like, oh my gosh, this is so yummy. My life is amazing. But you have to get up into that state of love. And when you're into that state, that also means you're creating those things that you desire. And then from there, you can start getting up into your throat chakra, which is truly by your throat, by your Adam's apple. It's when people have issues with that, they'll have sore throats all the time. They might have strep throat all the time. If they're not speaking their truth, if they're not communicating, if they're not standing up for themselves, if they're not sharing their emotions, they'll have sore throats, strep throat, laryngitis, all types of throat issues. Because that is where our communications are. That is also connected to our feelings, our ability to open up, communicate, is all tied there. So those people are stuck and trapped. They really can't get above that. Once you get above that, you get into that third eye area. That's that indigo color. That's right in between your eyebrows. And that's tied to your intuition, your clairvoyance. So, you know, some people get frustrated because they're like, oh my gosh, I've done all this work and I feel like I'm in this state of love and I'm, doing all these things. But, my intuition, Nicole, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. Well, there could be something that you haven't communicated. Maybe you haven't communicated with yourself. Maybe you haven't communicated with a lover or an ex-lover. Because those throat chakra blocks need to be removed so you can get up to that intuition third eye chakra. And then the last one, that sweet spot that we all want to get into is your crown chakra. And that is when you have come into a place of unconditional spiritual love and compassion. And that's at the top. You're going to know that that's fully working when you're constantly, like, you have your forehead tingling and all types of stuff, and your intuition's fully open, and you can look at someone do the most foolish thing, and you're like, well, I still love them because I can tell at a higher level why they're doing that. It's not a personal attack against me. It's just where they are. And you will love them no matter what. So many of you are struggling, they're saying, with that lower level sacral chakra. That is tied to, now again, the solar plexus is all about energy vitality, but your sacral chakra, this orange, it's all about relationships and our emotions. Those are the prime functions of that chakra. Orange is also about, like, desiring a relationship, desiring love, desiring to want to connect with someone, because we're human beings. We're actually intended to connect with someone. We're actually intended to be in relationships. We're not intended to be alone. I mean, even if we're a person that's hopping from relationship to relationship, from one bed to the next bed, not to say it's wrong. Some people go through that when they're younger. It's how they're learning and discovering. But it's a lonely life because there's not true intimacy. And typically, not true intimacy because they're not ready for it yet. They haven't reached that state of emotional maturity of really wanting to open up and connect. But they aren't at that point that they can create anything either. They're more down in that root chakra. If it's just pure sexuality, it's just pure animalistic behaviors. That's it. But as we grow and we evolve, we move up in those chakras. And your sacral chakra, it's all about, of course, sexuality. But, the goal is to also be sensitive. It's sensitivity, or sensual desire. And sensitivity is also that it's not just sensitive like, he gives me chills up and down my spine when he touches me. And when she puts her lips on my neck, whoo, I get chills up and down my spine, and I start tingling everywhere. Sensitivity is emotional sensitivity. truly opening up and allowing ourselves to connect with someone. Because it's all about that giving and receiving, that responding to someone, but responding on a deeper level where you can create something. It's also tied to reproduction. And of course, as we mentioned, that the sensual desires, those things. But if that chakra is blocked, what you will find is maybe you're often getting sick. Maybe you have cold after cold. Maybe where you're at, you're heading into the summertime. And like everyone is feeling healthy, feeling alive, feeling great, and you are sick as a dog all the time. Or maybe for some of you that are, heading into fall here in the States or Canada or anyone in the Northern Hemisphere, you could be in the UK, but you've been sick all summer long. And you're like, what in the heck is going on? You've got a block in your chakra. If you're not feeling alive, if you're not feeling excited, if you have a low sex drive, if you have a lack of energy, if there are reproductive issues, if you're having a lot of urinary tract infections, or you're having issues with your spleen or your kidneys or your blood sugar, you have a blocked chakra. The reason it gets blocked is because we are not allowing ourselves to let go of something emotional, something tied to a relationship. And it's not just love relationships. Typically, we will have blocks in love relationships because of relationships with our parents. It can also sometimes be grandparents. And that blocks and that messes everything up, and then you're sick as a dog and you can't figure out why you can't be in a relationship. The other reason that people typically have blocks in this chakra is because they fear intimacy. And not just having sex with somebody, because anybody can have sex with someone, but true intimacy. Into me, I see you. Truly opening up, not holding anything back, sharing our deepest fears, our biggest hopes and dreams, and who we really are and what we really desire, and just sharing it all. Not holding back. And knowing that that person's going to love us no matter what. But when we're fearful that, oh gosh, they may not love me, they might judge me, no, I'm just really not going to open up to this. Well, we'll have a blockage. Many of you have a blockage. And for some, you find time and time again that your emotional needs are not being taken care of. And for some of you, the reason it's blocked is because your emotional needs aren't being taken care of. You need to do an emotional cleansing. You need to, again, the two core things are either not letting things go, holding on to something that's not fulfilling you, not meeting your needs, or not opening up to true intimacy, true connection, true emotions. In which case, then you do have to do a cleansing. You have to do a clearing. You have to do a healing. You need to let some things go. That's what will open you up for good things and warmth and love and connection. All these things that we want, that we desire. Now, okay, let's see if I can reach this book. So I have this book. And, okay, got it. So, this is a book written by Elliot Jackson. And I'll put the title of the book and everything below. So if you all are interested in purchasing it, he has a number of them. This is actually his first one that he did. Yes, okay. So he channels God, source. And it happened by total fluke. He had gone to a channeling class with his wife. She wanted him to go because it was in an area that wasn't very safe, and she wanted his protection and him to drop her off and pick her up. But he joined her for the class, and they were doing their homework. It was a 4 or 5 week course, and they were doing their homework. It was like the first week, and all of a sudden he went into the state where he looked as though he was sleeping. And he was very critical of it. He's like, oh, this is just crazy. Why are we spending? We're just totally wasting our money. I can't believe you're having me waste our money again. And, typical guy, because most guys, when they're first opening up to this stuff, and I mean, he'd even been a Reiki master at that point. He's done quite a bit of spiritual stuff, but he just thought, oh no, this is way out there. And that's normal for anyone, actually, when we're first opening up to spiritual stuff. We're just like, wow, that's kind of out there. Ooh. But then we realize how magical it is. And so anyhow, he goes to this class, and they're doing their homework, and she looks up, and it looks like he's sleeping. He's like closed his eyes, and all of a sudden starts speaking and began by saying, we are all there is, was, and ever shall be. We are what you call God, and just starts going in, and he's channeling all this information. And so he comes to, and she's crying. And he's like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, oh my gosh, you just had God, source, these just came through you and were speaking to me. And he's like, oh, you just, no, no, that didn't happen. Well, fast forward, it did happen. It does happen. And he has written books that have all been channeled from God, source. He has also, if you've seen my Facebook page, the Platinum Shield is something that he channeled. But these books are totally channeled. And they want me to read, which is interesting because I haven't even read this yet. Okay. They want me to read a part of this for you. Because most of you, this is stuff that's affecting love. You're getting really frustrated by it. Okay. So this is from the chapter Love, Soulmates and Twin Flames. Okay, they're going to have me read a chunk of it. Okay. There was a man and a woman who both thought that due to their previous experiences, love was not a good thing, as you understand the term. But they both swore against it, promising themselves never to walk down that road called love again. Further, they made every attempt to ensure the proceeding. She had been hurt many times, lied to by men, and even physically abused. She had multiple sexual relationships with all sorts of people. She even went to her own gender, seeking what she felt would be a person of more tenderness and sensitivity. But alas, this turned out to be the same as before, pain and emotional ruin. So you see, never again would she, or could she, open up her heart to another man or woman. Yes, her mind was set to this. There was likewise a man who thought he could not trust any woman. His mother and grandmother were both verbally abused him. This caused his self-esteem to be very low. Virtually each and every woman he met verbally abused and lied to him. They all used him and took his money. Even if the relationships did not start out that way, they always ended up that way. We add here that he was bringing or calling this to himself. Remember, water seeks its own level. Therefore, he reserved himself for no more relationships. Both the woman and the man looked into and participated in online dating. This after, of course, stating to themselves and the universe that they would seek no more. Both thus became bitter, angry, and somewhat jaded toward themselves and the world in general. Years passed, and both of them lived lives of little or no interaction with the opposite sex on any intimate level. They did interact with others socially, at work and such. However, on a deep level, no, no, no. Then one day in a grocery store while shopping, their eyes met. Love. Each had to fight their previous rushing thoughts of failure in relationships. Each had to fight their fears. Each had to fight their developed sabotorial relationship mindset. They did so, and the spiritual portions of this wonderful being step up and overrode the mental and emotional portions' reluctance. They approached each other, exchanged phone numbers, and consequently married 3 weeks later. We tell you, 4 children and 30 years of bliss, bills, homework, cuts on the playgrounds, and parties later, that love, that thing they fought against for so very long, that thing that is spiritual and universal in nature, prevailed. And it can for you. Never give up on love. For yes, love is life. Love is us. Love is everything. Yes, everything. So I read that for you because for those of you on this channel, you know, your job is to not seek love. Rather, it's to find whatever blocks that you have in you that are blocking you from love. Because if you're on this channel and the readings that I do resonate with you, it's very likely you are a twin flame, a twin soul, or some soulmate that you have met a soulmate that you're going to very likely end up with long term. But that does not preclude you from doing the work. You have to do the work. It's not easy. No one wants to do it. They don't want to, you know, we're creatures of habit. We don't want to, you know, if we've constantly been with someone who is abusive, who's not good for us, but that's the way we've always done it, we don't really want to change those things. We don't want to step out of the norm, even though it hurts and it's painful and it's not fulfilling us. Because when you've met the person who's the one, you know. Those of you that have been on here that are twins, you know. You knew they were the one that the moment you met them. You know when you look and you have parallel lifetimes. You've had parallel experiences. You know when you have telepathic communications. You know they're the one. Just like that said, you know, they married 3 weeks later, they were together for the rest of their life. Because you know something that is divinely ordained like that is meant to be. Can't go wrong. You know it. But what that does is that sets up all these fears and all these things that have kept us from love. Like, oh my gosh, we just jump into this fight or flight moment. And that's what happens. And instead of running, we need to be running to the solution. How do we get rid of that? How do we release that? They're saying for some of you, like the Divine Masculine, we've gotten to hear your story for weeks and months in a row, time and time and time again. It's because many of you are not allowing an ex to go. You're not allowing past behaviors, maybe promiscuity or alcoholism, or maybe throwing yourself into work. But when you look at the core reason, it's really because you're afraid of being hurt. But if you're twin flame or twin soul, Divine Masculine, you've got a sure bet. You've got a sure deal. There's nothing to be afraid of. And the thing is, you know, I was saying that, you know, I don't get to decide about these recordings. You know, it wasn't my plan to spend 8+ hours doing these recordings. And for those of you that will make a comment, it is going to be the exact same intro on every video. I'm going to have to edit all the videos and put them together. I don't have time to do separate intros for everyone. They want you all to have these same messages so everybody gets the same one. So if you're cross-watching, know that you're just going to need to skip to whatever your sign that you're watching and watch that. Again, this is not for cross-watchers, but you might get something. But it's the same intro because everyone needs to hear it. But they're saying what you're doing is you're running from those things out of fear. Out of fear of changing how you've always done things. Out of fear of, okay, well, what if I go for this and this is a failure and a flop as well? But what if you don't try and you never have that thing that you desire? Because for those of you that are twins, you know. Divine Masculine, you know. If you're listening to these readings, you know. You can't stop thinking about her. She pops up in your mind all the time. You think you're crazy. Why do I think about this woman all the time that I don't really know anything about her? She has thought the same thing about you. But you're running from it. Oh, okay. Good. They're getting me back to where they were taking me before they talked about the intro. Great. The thing is, if you are a twin flame especially, and they're saying this is for the Divine Masculine, this is not about you. It's not. Like me, doing these readings, when I'm like, okay, I don't really have the time for this. They remind me it's not about me. It's not about me. I'm here to be of service. I'm here to help all of you. That's what I'm here to do. So I need to put myself to the side, my ego to the side, my crazy schedule to the side, and do what I'm here to do, which is to help each and every one of you. No matter if it's an inconvenience, no matter if it's not in my plan, irrelevant. Because I'm here to love and help each of you. That's my purpose. And when I'm not doing my purpose, I have all types of headaches and issues in life, which many of you are experiencing that. If you're having one problem after another problem after another problem, there's something that you are intended to be doing that you are not doing. Could be spiritual work, could be healing work, could be embracing your twin, whatever it is. If there's problem after problem after problem, it's time to adjust your course. But what they're saying is for those of you that are Divine Masculine, that are twin flame specific, this is not about you. You have a particular set of gifts that God has blessed you with, as does your other half. And make no mistake, she is your other half. If you were to do a reading with me, I would do an exercise with you that would give you physical proof the two of you truly are indeed one soul. You truly are each other's other half. They've given her gifts. They've given you gifts. Together, the two of you have gifts that will help humanity, and you also have these separate gifts. You are not using your gifts at this time because you're too busy running. You're too busy jumping from relationship to relationship, throwing yourselves into work, throwing yourselves into drinking, partying, rebound relationships. Any activity, anything and everything that will distract you from doing what you are here to do. And that's why we've had to repeatedly, week after week, month after month, hear the same message over and over. The reason is this is a big deal. This isn't just, oh, well, you need to just date this girl. No, because this is so much bigger than you and her. And they're trying to wake you up to that. It is not about you. This is about the people that you are here to serve, the people that you are here to help, because you have a very specific set of gifts, skills to help humanity. And there are people out there that need your help. You could be doing spiritual work like your twin. You may be writing books, because some of us that are twins, we have gone through hell. I know at some point I'm going to be writing books and I'm going to be doing motivational speaking around the world. I know this. That's a beautiful thing about being twins. We get a heads up on stuff that's going to be going on, and they try to not scare us with too much at once. It would freak all of us out. But we are here to do things to help humanity. So divine masculine that are twin flames, you are here to do some tremendous things. You may be doing spiritual work. You might be writing books. You might be doing motivational speaking. You don't know. You might set up a spiritual retreat resort with your twin. And maybe while she's doing some readings or yoga, maybe you're out doing nature walks and hikes. Maybe you're taking people kayaking. And you're speaking to them and sharing your story. You uplift them, you motivate them, you inspire them. At this time that the world is going through this shift, this ascension that we're going through, everyone is going through hell at this time. With the intent for everyone to get to a better place. But at this time of need, because no one is exempt from this awakening process. We're all going through it. But you divine masculine, you have gifts to help them. You have gifts to help them grow, help give them hope and faith again, help keep them going when they don't even want to be here anymore. But the fact that you are not operating at your full potential, the fact that you are repeatedly doing every possible distraction out there, from woman after woman, to drinks, to partying, to carousing, to all this stuff that you're doing it because you're fearful. Some of you fear failure. Some of you fear failed relationships. You've got a sure bet. And that is why they won't stop talking about it. They won't stop pushing you. You won't stop having all this crap happen in your life until you move forward in the direction you are destined to move into. And again, you're destined to do it because you are here to help humanity. You do get the storybook love of a lifetime. You really do. You have this love that's going to happen with your twin that is something everyone desires and dreams of and hopes and prays for. You have it. But the reason you have it is because you are here to serve humanity. You are here to help people. You are here to move them forward. And you are not doing that. And because you are not doing that, there are hundreds, and for some of you, thousands of people that may be totally shit out of luck because you are the only person on this earth that can help them. But because you are not doing what you are here to do, they are shit out of luck. So when I say that this is not about you, rest assured, divine masculine who repeatedly ignore their calling, who repeatedly are not taking the time to sit down, listen to their divine guidance and take action on it, you are letting people down who need you. And for some, you are the only person that can help them. But you have got to get on board. You have got to remove the blocks. You've got to stop the distractions. People are counting on you. And if you are twin flame, masculine or feminine, bottom line, that is what it's about. It's not about focusing on your twin all the time. Oh, I love them so much and I think about them 24/7. It's about humanity and serving them, helping them, loving them, guiding them, assisting them. Because when you are doing that, the relationship just falls together because the two of you are destined to do that together. You have gifts that complement each other. You have this magnetic pull to each other. But the core reason is because you have to have your focus on God and your mission that you're here to do. I encourage you to overcome the fears and overcome the blocks. There are people counting on you. And for those of you that are not twin flames, you may be doing some work as well. And people are counting on you, need your help. You may also keep getting into one craptastic relationship after another because you need to do the work. They wouldn't bring stuff up over and over and over and over if it wasn't the very thing that's going to transform your life. This is the very thing that changes everything. That's why they want these messages, and they don't want you to have any more messages for 2 weeks. Because the time has come to sit down and do your work. Remove the blocks. Focus on what you're here to do, and it's different for everyone. But this is a time to be strong. Be strong. If you have something that you need to let go of, if you need to let go of childhood hurts and pains, because we do attract some people to us that are like us, or like the things that we fear. So maybe like the example in the book, maybe, our mom did tear us down all the time and was very critical and judgmental and very controlling of us. Well, if we look, what we'll find is every relationship we've had, we've always been with one person after another that's controlling and manipulative and talks down to us and is very cruel with their words, because we have not healed and released the hurt from our childhood with our mother. Therefore, we keep attracting that. Maybe we had a parent that was an absent parent. Maybe our father was never there, never around. So we fear abandonment. Well, if we look at our relationships, what you will find is relationship after relationship will have someone who's there, but they're not in. They're really not committed. And they're leaving in no time. And they never have an explanation for it. They're just poof, gone. And they abandon us. The reason is we have a fear of abandonment because a father abandoned us. So we just keep attracting it over and over and over till we heal it. We have to heal it. Go back and listen to the weekly reading that I posted for the week of the 6th through whatever that Sunday is. The most recent weekly reading, I talked in there about writing letters to our parents. So if you are a person that has those childhood experiences that you're like connecting the dots, like, oh my gosh, that's right. That's what's going on. Wow. What do I do about it? Write a letter. There's the details in the weekly reading that I did for November 6th through whatever that Sunday is. Listen to that. Write letters. You may have to write letters also to exes, because for those of you that this is relationship tied, you're going to have to release the energetic ties to every person you've ever been intimate with and had relationships with. That also includes your twin. Because even if you look at it like with your twin, I know those of you that don't like to hear it, it's interesting. I went to that thing where Elliot was actually doing a group channeling, and there were a few ladies there that listened to these readings. And one that was sitting next to me, and I'd never heard Elliot speak before, first time I've met him, but at one point relationships and things came up, and it came up about completely letting people go and focusing on ourselves and loving ourselves. Because be it a twin or anyone else, if they're not giving us what we need, we are not loving ourselves enough to demand and know that we deserve better, and we're not going to put up with anything less. And she and I were talking. I said, well, that's why I'm constantly putting in videos. Not me, it's them. The angels are always telling me to share that you have to let them go. They're not giving you what you want because you aren't loving yourself enough to know that you deserve better. And they can rise to the better, but you have to rise to the better. And ladies, we are the ones in the lead. But we have to surrender. We have to let go. And with the twin, you also have to surrender and release that past experience. It's kind of like shedding a big, heavy winter coat. You just got to let that go. Unzip all that pain, that heartache, that anger, that frustration, that disappointment, and drop it so you can move forward. Move forward with your twin, move forward with someone else. But either way, you're moving forward because you're remembering you're amazing and beautiful and magnificent. And we all need to remember that. So listen to that. Do the letters that you need to do. Be strong. Be strong. Because some of these conversations that need to be had, especially for some of you divine masculine that need to let some people go, maybe some of you need to resurrect and start the conversation again with your twin. Maybe things left on an ugly note. Be strong. Ask Archangel Gabriel to help you with the conversations. Ask Archangel Raphael to heal the past hurts. And ask Archangel Michael to give you the strength to have those conversations. But have conversations. Let people, things, situations go that are not working for you. Stop running. Face the changes and the transformations head on, because that's when your life is going to change. It's not going to get better until you can face it. Face the fear. Let go of what's not working. Also, for some of you, they're saying to stay in the present moment. Because for some of you, you just constantly keep thinking about, oh, the future, and well, someday this is going to happen, and someday I'm going to get married, someday I'm going to have a family, and someday I'm going to have a job that I love. Well, if that's what you're constantly thinking is someday, you're not in the present moment. And it's essentially energetically something that you're constantly chasing. Versus if you're in the moment and you're in a state of gratitude, oh my gosh, I love my life. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that I have a job that, financially takes care of me. And even if you don't love your job, be thankful that you have a job. Be thankful of your great coworkers. Because that's energetically just going to pull better and better and better to you. It's not like you're constantly thinking someday, someday, someday. You're like, no, today's amazing and I love my freaking life. And it's only going to get better. Or on the flip side of the coin, some of you that are constantly looking back of, oh, things went so wrong. How did it go wrong? Or what happened? Well, that's in the past. Let it go. Let it stay in the past. Let it be done. So you can move into your future. But it's really staying present, staying here, staying now, being in a state of gratitude. Also, those of you that have really started to lose your hope and your faith, start doing some visualizations. Restore your hope. Restore your faith. Stop trying to control things. Again, let go, let God show off. Because if you're in one of these divinely orchestrated, led relationships, all you need to do is take the action steps that they're guiding you to do when you're being guided to do them. Everything else will fall into place with divine timing. But know that you're going to have success. Know that if you start a business, oh, it is going to be a booming business. Don't allow that, oh, well, with an ex, I started a real estate business and it was a total flop and I lost thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. No, it's going to be a success because everything you touch is gold. Know that. Visualize that. Have faith in that. And lastly, they're saying that you have got to open up to your emotions. Allow yourself to be emotionally sensitive. Because for some of you, this spiritual awakening, especially for some divine masculine, they're saying it's just kind of really burst open that heart chakra, and all of a sudden you've got all these feels and you just don't like them because it makes you uncomfortable. Because maybe as a kid you had a father, maybe he was in the military, maybe he's very strict and he's like, you know what, boys, we don't show feelings. The girls do that. No, we all show feelings. We're humans. We are emotional beings. When we disconnect from our emotions, we disconnect from our romantic partners, our lovers, we disconnect from our family, we disconnect ourselves from God. Because healing energy, all that work, the spiritual stuff, it comes from our heart center, it comes from unconditional love, it comes from emotions. When people are taught how to do quantum touch, first thing that they start to teach them is that they must mentally, emotionally get into a state of joy, happiness, bliss, unconditional love. Because only when they are in that state can they be a conduit to do the energy healing work. Because if they are not in a state of unconditional love, it can't be done. These emotions, this emotional sensitivity that's been opening, it's a gift from God. For some of you, it's opening up spiritual gifts in you. Some of you, it's bringing you to the love of a lifetime. For some of you, it's bringing you out of this, I'm alone, I'm single, in a miserable state that you've been in for years. For some of you, it's also the piece that's going to shift they're saying it's going to shift for some of you your career as well. Allow yourself to feel the emotions. For some of you, allow yourself to share your emotions. You may have to have conversations with someone. Hey, this doesn't work for me anymore. This doesn't make me happy. This is not working. I'm done with this. You may have to have conversations of, hey, I'm sorry that I behaved the way that I did in the past. I hope you can forgive me and we can move forward. No matter what side of the coin it is. For some of you, you also need to acknowledge, they're saying some of you also need to acknowledge your feelings. You have not acknowledged how you feel about people. You have not acknowledged how you feel about the situation. And it's different both sides. Some of you, it's situations with ex that you refuse to see the truth. For some of you, it's with people that should be in your future, but you, same thing, refuse to see the truth. It's because you're not wanting to feel your emotions, though. Allow yourself to feel your emotions. Remember, it is truly a gift. Okay? And use these 2 weeks to do the work that you need to do. You'll find that it's going to be worth it. Like they were saying in the beginning, if you can take these couple weeks, for those here in the States that are celebrating Thanksgiving, all of you can celebrate Thanksgiving. Be like, you know what? I am thankful for where my life is, but I am going to do this work because I am ready for the next phase of my life. I am ready to take this up 100 times better. But I know in order to do that, I have to take care of these things. So I'm going to use these 2 weeks to take care of those things. And for some of you, you very well may have your blessings rolling in by Christmas time. Yeah, they're saying for some of you, by Christmas, these very things that you've been hoping and praying and longing for years, will start just falling in your lap by Christmas. But you have to do the work. So take the time these 2 weeks and do the work. Stop distractions, do the work. It's going to be worth it. You'll be so thankful that you did. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting into your readings. I do apologize for the lighting. Here in Ohio, it really is getting dark early, and I don't have time to get it done during the day, so we're just going to turn on a bunch of lights. Please ignore the glare. I will try to twist the cards and angles and such so that you can see them. But just hang in there with me. And for those of you watching these, if you could please timestamp below, because I'm not going to be timestamping when each of your signs starts. So if you could please do that for me, I'd appreciate it. And so would your fellow viewers, so they can see when their sign begins. And we'll go ahead and get started.